Okay, so they want to get around the table and have a talk fest on the Jobs and Skills Summit this week. Fair enough. So let's give them a suggestion of something worthwhile to talk about. It's not a new idea by a long shot, but not many media outlets want to talk about the merits of granting our working temporary residents who helped us out during the pandemic their permanent residency. These temporary visa holders stayed and helped even when the Morrison government was suggesting that they should leave.
Now, these visas and those who are in Australia under various visa arrangements, they're obviously not held here compulsorily. If they're not in a position to be able to support themselves, then there is the alternative for them to return to their home countries.
But it was okay for student nurses. Please stay and work full time.
But there are many students who are in Australia. That's why we lifted the hour restrictions on student nurses, for example. Some 20,000 additional student nurses then became available into our health system. That's very important.
At that time, I wrote an article on our blog page reminding temporary visa holders not to put their lives at risk for us. Reminding student nurses and doctors on the front line that as temporary visa holders, they owed Australia nothing. The government wouldn't even spend the money sending your body home if you died here. But they went on to help us in droves anyway, not because they needed to. They did it because it was the right thing to do. They just wanted to stay and help. No mention was made of what impact this may have on their studies. No mention that perhaps the poor academic performance visa cancellation measures would be relaxed if they started failing subjects. No special consideration from education providers either if they dropped behind. They still cancelled students' enrolments. No, our temporary residents were expected to be superheroes. Please stay, work and save us. However, don't forget you still have to pass everything. No mention either of 485 visa holders who are looking forward to getting their work in their skill sets, but of course their normal jobs were hard to come by. In the end, they helped us out in the menial jobs in the best way they could. They worked on farms, in meat abattoirs, in stacking supermarket shelves so we could find enough food to live off. So many opportunities were lost for these people whilst they were working to help us, and there has been no thanks at all from our former PM. Across the ditch, New Zealand took a different approach in September last year, offering permanent residence to 165,000 temporary residents, acknowledging the importance of keeping their country moving during the pandemic. The New Zealand Immigration Minister said at the time, the government provided a pathway to those who lived in New Zealand for 3 years or more, or earned above the median wage, which was $27 per hour, or worked in a role on the long-term skill shortage list, or held an occupation registration and worked in the health or education sector, or worked in personal care or other critical health workers roles, or worked in a specified role in the primary industries. They also made it available to those who entered New Zealand as critical workers in roles of 6 months or longer.
It's 165,000 people who we're going to give a one-off residence to pathway to residence. We've had to work through those issues, the implications of those issues. When this piece of work started out, there were specific sectors that were asking for pathways to residence. Over time, it emerged obviously that the resolution had to cut across all sectors. It's a big piece of policy work, and as the Prime Minister said, probably one of the biggest immigration policy decisions that will be made in our living memory. So it took time.
Canada too had a similar approach, offering permanent residence to essential temporary workers and temporary resident international student graduates. The governments gave out 90,000 places.
But on immigration, yes, I'm very excited about yesterday's announcement. What that announcement represents is a faster and broader pathway for essential workers, as well as recent international students who are graduated, who are in Canada. And we're talking about people who possess a range of skills, not only in the health, but also people who move our goods and services right across the country. And I'm thinking about those who are driving trucks and making sure that people get all the things that they now buy online. And so by giving them a pathway to permanent residency, we're guaranteeing and strengthening their job security. We are accelerating our economic recovery, and we are driving forward with a pathway to prosperity for all Canadians.
And yes, I can see it now in the comment sections of this video. If we increase migration numbers, where are they all going to live? And what about Australian jobs? But that's the whole point. They are already here. They are living and working next door to you, and we still have low record unemployment. It is not going to change the position of any Australian. In fact, quite the opposite. They will continue to contribute to the economy and support local jobs by maintaining productivity. We have nothing to lose to grant them permanent residency and everything to gain. We need to keep the help already here, and we will need more by finishing the processing of visas of those who have already applied. Any new future applicants will take time anyway before they get here, and the economy will be booming along and everybody benefits. As a country, we have faced a historic event and we have prevailed, however, not without great losses. Tomorrow we could face even tougher adversities. We need these people to stay in Australia who have helped us already. They have proved themselves to be assets, and it's time to make our own historic choices and grant them all permanent residency. Thanks for watching me rave on tonight, and we appreciate the support of all of you watching our channel. As always, take care out there, and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.